Hello. So today I want to talk about personal branding and branding in general, really. Now, this is something that I've been kind of put off by for so many years and realized at some point that I was kind of doing it without even realizing. Um, but I think if branding is something that freaks you out or confuses you or is distasteful to you, maybe this will help you reframe that in your brain so that you can actually sort of explore this subject in greater detail. So in the past, I associated branding with something that was a little corny, a little corporate. That's a lot of the associations that it brings up as sort of like, brand names and advertising and, something that is very impersonal and sterile. Now, what I've come to realize is that personal branding, when you are the product, when you are, maybe you're an entrepreneur or a solopreneur or whatever the term is that you describe yourself, a founder or whatever it is, you essentially are selling yourself with your skills and your experience and your knowledge and your creativity. You are therefore the brand. Now, in the past, I've seen branding be trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, like trying to force something that is a little naff, a little fake. And in reality, we are completely unique individuals with our own experiences and our own ideas, and that is our brand. And all we have to do, essentially, is figure out where we bring value and then brand that, or at least put that thing out into the world. Now, for me, I really love educating people. I've always loved teaching. I feel like I'm fairly creative. I've got lots of ideas, and I like thinking about things from different perspectives. So I like doing this kind of thing. I like putting myself out there with ideas and thoughts and seeing what other people think. And, that is part of my brand. It's not everything that I do. It's not all that I do. It's not all that I love, but it's something that I've figured out is something that I have, that I can give out, and put out into the world. And if people connect with that, great. If people don't connect with that, well, they can get on with their lives. They don't have to, consume that anymore. And so I think the essence of branding or personal branding is figuring out who you are, what it is that you're passionate about, and what it is that you have to offer the world, and then packaging that in a way that makes sense and that authentically represents that, and then putting that out for the world to consume. You're not going to please everyone. You're not going to make everyone happy. You're not going to, never get pushback. Sometimes people just don't, connect with what it is that you're putting down, and that's fine. That's just there's 8 billion people on the planet. A good chunk of those people are not going to get you whatsoever. That's just how it is. But you're trying to find your tribe, right? Your people that you want to work with and collaborate with and befriend and network with, and the best way to do that is to find that thing and package it correctly and offer it out there to the world. And that's how I think of personal branding. Now, videos are one thing. I have to get used to just being on camera. It's something I've shied away from for a long time. But I find the best medium for myself, and I think for a lot of people, is podcasting. Now, I would say that because I'm founder of RPS, which is a podcast production company, but it's something I've done for the last 7 years, 8 years, however long it's been. I've been in the audio world for 20 plus years, 25 years coming up. And I happen to love that intimate connection, having a conversation. It's somewhat of a parasocial relationship because with a podcast, you are speaking or you're having a conversation and other people are kind of listening in slightly separated. But it's still very personal. It's very long form. You can elaborate on your ideas and your thoughts, and you can share who you are as a person. And so I really like podcasting as a personal branding tool, but that could be writing a blog. It could be shooting videos like this. It could be going to events and just seeing the whites of people's eyes and just connecting one-to-one. Whatever that process for you, whichever way is most comfortable for you, I think it's important that you realize that that is an important part of growing your presence in the industry that you're in, and then figuring out, the best way to do that. So that's how I think of personal branding. It's more about connection and sharing authenticity rather than creating something kind of clunky and artificial and fake and kind of forcing it on people. And maybe that was just my issue, but I've always felt branding was kind of corny in that respect, especially if it's really tied to a shtick. Like, you're trying to blend in, I don't know, like I like cars and Formula One and stuff. Like I try to make everything about Formula One, even though it's not really related or relevant to anything. Like that to me is fake and forced rather than just me putting myself out there. So anyway, I'm rambling on, but those are my thoughts on personal branding and a way that you can do it that isn't super forced and awkward and cheesy. So anyway, I hope that was helpful.